Yes? I hate it. No! Yes! I'm also repelled, repulsed, reviled, and revolted by it. In addition, I loathe and abhor it, not to mention despising and detesting it!
Crammed into a submarine with a giant dinosaur and no launch pad to even steer it. Things can't possibly get any worse. Did we have to bring Herb? Welcome to the St. Canard Files, a Darkwing Duck podcast. I'm your host, Stan Lund, and with me once again is...
Tiffany Silverbraun.
Welcome back, Tiff. It has been ages since the last time we recorded.
Yes, it has.
Yeah, our last episode came out, I believe, December 4th, so sorry for the delay, folks, but we are finally here ready to tackle issue 10 of Darkwing Duck, which is the final issue of the titled Darkwing Duck series. And boy, do we have thoughts on this one.
Yeah.
But before we get into those, we have a small bit of non-Darkwing news, as well as a few different pre-talk things. So in terms of non-Darkwing news, I don't know if you saw this, Tiff, but they just released the Kickstarter for the vintage Gargoyles comics trades.
Oh, I did not see that. That is awesome.
Yeah, they're reprinting all of the Marvel Gargoyles comics from the 90s, as well as the SVG Gargoyles comics, which are super rare and pricey. So
that's really cool. Love Gargoyles.
So, yeah, Gargoyles is awesome. Yeah. I'll definitely have to get those when they release. Now, keep in mind, you don't have to order them through Kickstarter. Of course, our local comic stores will get the plain versions in. But if you want, special versions like special hardcovers or signed hardcovers or art prints or stuff like that, then definitely give the Kickstarter campaign a look and see if it's for you.
Yeah, what's the price?
What?
What's the price on that?
It varies. Like to get just the 3 plain trades, I think was $95. Yeah, which is a little on the pricey side, not gonna lie, especially when you can get them from your comic store, and depending on the comic store, maybe even save some money on them. Like my local shop, any pre-orders you save 20% on. So that's one of the reasons why I'm just going to wait for them, because I don't really want to pay $95 when I can pay less.
Yeah, mine has deals too. Like I buy like a ton of comics. So it's like every couple books or something, you get like a $1 reward or something, which adds up. So I usually have some credit at my comic shop.
Well, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
So, how do you spend your Christmas, Tiff?
So I went to the East Coast. I went to North Carolina.
I was about to say, you didn't even come to see me, but North Carolina is a bit far from Vermont, so I don't blame you.
Pretty far. And it was my first time in North Carolina. So that was cool to go to a new place. It was very nice. We got some light snow a couple times, which is always amazing, being a California girl who almost never, ever sees snow.
Well, if I could, I'd give you all our snow.
We went to a really fun, what was it? Oh, it was called Retrocade. We were in Asheville, North Carolina. And they had all vintage video games, a huge collection of vintage video games and pinball machines. and it was really fun. And I think
Cool.
they had it so you go in and you pay $20, I want to say, and then everything's just free like the entire time you're there. So you don't
Yeah.
have to put coins in or anything. And then we went to a tiki bar that I have never been to, obviously, which is pretty cool. We did a review for that on our YouTube channel also.
Sweet.
And yeah, it was pretty good, pretty fun.
Well, that sounds fun.
Yeah. And right afterwards, when we came back, I had to drive all the way to LA to go to one of my best friend's bachelor parties in the desert for a weekend. That was fun too. We went axe throwing, and that was my first time doing that.
Ah. So you tried to emulate Gimli, did you?
Yep. I did pretty good. Definitely need more practice.
You get anything really cool for Christmas? Any new Darkwing merch?
I did not get any Darkwing stuff, but Greg got me. So this is a long time ago when there was a series called Old Lady Harley.
I remember it. I think I have an issue of that or two.
Yeah, there's 6 total, and this thing happens sometimes with comic books if I'm not on it, where I got, I think, issue 1 and 2, and then I missed 3 and I got discouraged, so I didn't get the rest of them.
Ah.
So and it was always frustrating because I wanted to know what happened in the story. And so Greg got me like the complete set of like 1 through 6.
Sweet.
So that was awesome. He always remembers the comic books that I want, which is great.
Yeah, speaking of comics, I don't know if you've seen this from what I've been posting, but I've kind of been on a Marvel Zombies kick lately.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, I'd always been kind of intrigued by them, but most of the ones I'd gotten were all ones that I'd picked up from the quarter bins at my local shop. So, I didn't have like very many complete runs. So I had a few, like the Marvel Zombies versus Army of Darkness. I somehow managed to find all of them in the quarter comics.
Nice.
But lately I've been getting a lot more into it, especially with things like the first season of What If having that story set in the Marvel Zombie universe, and then with the new Black, White, and Blood series, I've started getting a little more interested in it. So,
Yeah.
and it didn't hurt that my local comic shop, recently they started going through their basement, and finding all these treasures. So they found a whole bunch of the older Marvel Zombie comics. So I got those. A local resale shop had the trade paperbacks. I picked up the first one for Marvel Zombies 1. And then recently on eBay, I bought the Ultimate Fantastic Four issues that introduced Marvel Zombies. So I've effectively been bitten by the Marvel zombie bug, though hopefully I won't turn into a zombie because of it.
Yeah.
As for Chris, what?
I was gonna say, and they've been coming out with all these Christmas comics too this year. I
Yeah,
don't know if you got any of those.
for Marvel Zombies?
No, just in general. Like usually you only see like a couple of different Christmas comics, but there was like a ton this year.
Well, I got one Christmas comic I think you'll find amusing. The Creep Show Holiday Special.
Oh yeah, I got that too. It was pretty good.
Yeah, though I can't wait for the next special. It's the one that's going to have the Joe Hill story.
Of Creepshow?
Yeah. I don't
Nice.
know if you know who Joe Hill is, but that's Stephen King's son.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a very good writer.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah, I spent Christmas at my mom's house, so which was all right, aside from the fact that we had a unwanted guest running around. Mom had a rat get into the house. And
Oh no.
over the course of like 4 months, it caused havoc, including eating her dishwasher.
Oh my gosh. Like through the hoses?
Yeah. Luckily for us, though, finally, the poison got the thing. And since it was only the one, my mom's house is now rat free.
Yeah, we have a whole rodent problem like in the whole city right now. That's pretty bad. And our dog is supposed to be like a ratter. Like that's their supposed to be in their nature. He hasn't caught any yet.
Maybe he thinks they're all Remy.
Aww.
Hey, if rats were nice like Remy, I don't think anyone would have a problem with them.
No.
Unfortunately, they're all more like Ratigan.
I do love rats, but yeah, I don't know. Like I can hear them, but so far we haven't noticed any like damage or anything. Whereas some of our neighbors said they were like chewing through their pantries and stuff and getting in the garage and eating up things in the garage, but I think we've been pretty lucky. I think maybe because we have a dog and a cat.
Yeah.
So
any other things that have happened to you in the last month and a half?
not so much. Just been working on art as usual and YouTube videos.
Yeah, I've still been working on my YouTube channels, reacting to different trailers, trying different, things, and of course playing different games. I'm almost done playing the Lego Jurassic World, which means I'm about ready to revisit my old worst enemy, which is Lego Lord of the Rings. Oh, that game is so frustrating. A, because it's full of different glitches, some of which can be game breaking, but also if you've ever played that game and have ever tried any of the races, you know how infuriating they can be. Like, if let's say you've played Lego games, right?
Yeah, I think there's a Indiana Jones one, right?
All right. Yep. Though I don't what?
Yeah, I think I remember playing that one, but it was like a long time ago. And
Yeah.
the Batman one.
Yep.
And maybe that's it, just those two. But yeah.
Okay, so
I've watched
you might have what?
I watched a few like playthroughs online of some of them though.
Okay, because I was going to say they might not have had races in them when you were playing, but I think it was around like the Lego Marvel games where they introduced races into the Lego games where you'd have to go from a starting point to an end point. And for the most part, they work relatively well. Some of them are frustrating, but none of them compare to the wrongness of the Lord of the Rings ones, because when you race in that game on horses, and when you fail a race, your horse will buck you off of it and then run back to the starting line of the race.
Oh no.
And the Lego Lord of the Rings map is massive, so it can take up to 5 to 10 minutes to get back to where you were on foot. Now, it's a lot faster on horse, but your horse just bucked you off and ran away. So
that's so frustrating.
Yeah, like any other Lego game, you just drive back to where you were. Your car doesn't eject you and drive off.
Yeah.
So I am not looking forward to redoing those.
Good luck.
I was going to ask, have you seen anything I've tried lately for taste tests that you've been like, oh, I want to try that?
Not lately. I haven't been able to see anything.
What did you
go for some of the recent ones?
Let's see. In terms of recent things, I finally got to try Reese's dipped animal crackers. I tried the 2 different Mountain Dew game fuels. I think I tried toasty vanilla M&Ms. That should actually be out by the time this
Ooh.
episode comes out. I got something else. I haven't actually filmed the taste test for it yet. It's a Reese's cupcake.
Whoa.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I want to try those marshmallow M&Ms.
The toasty ones I mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were a Christmas thing, unfortunately. So I don't know if you'll be able to find them. Honestly, I actually wasn't that impressed by them.
Mm.
Sad
Yeah.
to say.
Yeah, did you try the hot chocolate Hershey Kisses? Those are a
I
Christmas.
don't think I found those.
Those were disappointing too.
Were they as disappointing or more disappointing than the Dove Cherry Cordial chocolates? Because I tried those and I didn't like them.
I didn't try those, but I did try the Andes cherries Jubilee, which was really good to me.
Yeah, those are delicious. I
Yeah.
really hate that the only time I can ever get those is at Christmas time and
Mhm.
only at Dollar Tree.
That's funny.
Like, I'd buy those year round if I could.
I think we got them at Grocery Outlet. I don't know if you have that on the East Coast.
No.
Hmm.
Nope, we don't.
Yeah, it's kind of like a cheaper grocery store. I don't know. They have like stuff that I think they had like too much of at other stores or something.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. So are we ready to get into it?
Yeah, I think we've delayed the inevitable long enough. So we are, of course, reviewing Darkwing Duck issue 10 for the last time, hopefully, written by Amanda Diebert with art and color by Carlo Loro, who will be continuing on, I believe, into the Justice Ducks run, which is fine. His art is getting passable, though there are definitely some odd choices in this one.
Yeah.
Once again, we do not have a title, which should surprise nobody. So let's rip the Band-Aid off and jump right in. So how do we start this thing?
So we see a Darkwing submarine in the ocean, and the gang being the Justice Ducks plus Herb and Goslin crammed inside. And
Well, we should say Justice Ducks -1, or well, -2 actually, because obviously Launchpad is still captured and Neptunia's not in the sub with them either.
does Launchpad count as one of the Justice Ducks, or is he just part of Darkwing?
I don't know. It's debatable, I guess.
All right, yeah. So we got Morgana, super saying that she's super crushed between Stigmat's tail and Gizmo Duck's gizmos. And yeah. Did you want to read that line by Darkwing? I know you like reading the Darkwing lines.
Sure. It's the same one that we opened the episode with too. Crammed into a submarine with a giant dinosaur and no launch pad to even steer it. Things can't possibly get any worse. Did we have to bring Herb? I will say, though, I do like the design of the Darkwing submarine.
Yeah. I think
it does look like it would actually fit within the show. So that is one addition to the Darkwing mythos that I do endorse.
I feel like it was in the show, but I can't remember what episode.
Yeah.
Could be wrong, but maybe it just looks that much like it would be in the show.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What are they doing?
So Stigmut says that he brought snacks and they're tofu dogs for some reason. I don't know, maybe the writer is vegetarian or something.
Possibly. We get one final half keen out of Gosselin. No full keen gear. I guess the writers of this comic have either never watched Darkwing or they've never heard the word gear spoken before. Keen tofu hot dogs. You sure relish that relish, Gosselin. Oh, brother. But we do get a great Darkwing face here. I should warn you, sometimes too many dogs can upset my tummy. Don't you dare get subsick during an adventure.
Yeah, he looks really angry.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it is too late, and Herb has turned a certain shade of green. Hey, you match me!
And then we get Darkwing. Now things couldn't possibly get worse. Gizmo Duck, we're here. Where's here? Because this is not Ducklantis. And we see Neptunia in front of the sub with a very angry face. Are you sure we can't just head there without her? I've been there before, which neither of us know what he's talking about there, because when we in Ducklantis.
Also, I have to ask, if they're not at Ducklantis, then why is there a building underwater?
That's what I was wondering too.
Not only that, but correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't that kind of resemble Gosalyn's school?
Yeah.
Like, am I tripping, or?
It does.
Gosalyn, have you done something that maybe you should fess up to?
I have no idea what that's about at all. Maybe it's a joke. My first thought, though, was not Gosalyn's school. I was like, is that supposed to be like the clock tower in Back to the Future?
Definitely not, because it's missing the pointed top. It's missing the columns. Also, I think we're definitely meant to think it's a school because there's also a school of fish heading towards it.
Maybe that's the joke.
Maybe. So anyway, Gosalyn reminds Darkwing that Launchpad needs us. Usually I'd indulge you, Dark, but Gosalyn is right. You need to let go of your ego and save your friend before he's lost to us forever. We get a admittedly touching scene of Gosalyn hugging Darkwing, and honestly, I think you're kind of lost without him too.
Yeah, Darkwing says, you're right.
And then we do get an entrance as he accidentally elbows, well, possibly accidental, possibly on purpose. I am the terror that flaps in the night. Elbows Gizmo Duck. Oops, excuse me. I am the sunburn that gives you a farmer's tan on a cloudy day. As he bonks Stegmutt. I am Darkwing Duck, and I need your help.
Everyone gasps.
Yeah. Like they never expected him to ever say that.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Just because I can defeat every deranged devil and solve even the most scrupulous of scams on my own doesn't mean I don't ever allow others to assist.
And he's back, says Neptunia.
For a second there, I thought maybe we were dealing with an imposter.
But I will help you. I like Launchpad, and I don't like any duck who trespasses in my ocean. And then Morgana tells Herb to show her his Quackerware tracker.
Yeah, which, again, I will mention, looks a lot like a Ghostbusters PKE meter.
She says, interesting, follow me. This is another thing, like when we were talking about, what's the episode of DuckTales on the robot planet, where the physics just really don't make any sense. I don't quite understand how they're talking to Neptunia through this submarine at all. And it seems like they're able to hear people from extremely long distances too underwater. So
yeah, as we get to on this next page.
Yes. We see Fish calling Neptunia Your Majesty. And then, oh, look, it's Neptunia the Great.
They obviously can't see me, or they'd be even more odd. fish are known for their terrible eyesight. Mommy, what's that? It's rude to point at strange-looking ducks, dear.
You see an exasperated Darkwing, which is like,
Yeah.
how could he possibly hear that? They're so far away.
Yep.
We see Neptunia, and she blows her shell underwater. And she says it's to alert everyone that they're going into deep, dangerous waters and that their queen might not return. Is that like an established thing? Did I miss that?
I don't know.
That she's
What?
that she's queen?
Yeah, I don't think that was ever established that she was queen.
Yeah, I thought that was gonna come up later, but it doesn't.
But anyway, Herb says, "Wow, that's dark." To which Darkwing responds, "You could always go home, Herb. We can take it from here." And Goslin points out, actually, at this point, he's in too deep, both literally and figuratively. Or figuratively, they say, since they don't spell it right.
Weird. Yeah. Neptunia says, Darkwing, in the spirit of cooperation, if you'd like to come help me, what? I can't even read that correctly. Darkwing, in the spirit of cooperation, if you'd like to come help me lead the way.
I thought you'd never ask.
Am I reading that right?
Yeah. It's written weird.
Okay, like a lot of stuff in this.
Yeah. But anyway, we got a little sound piercing the quiet of the ocean. What's the sound?
And Gizmoduck says, "Oh, I added a little evil shark alarm to the submarine as an upgrade. Hope you don't mind."
You know, that's mostly a harmful stereotype. Most sharks are totally fine as long as they're left alone.
Deep, 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 deep.
But not all of them. Swing for your lives.
Yeah, you see a pretty creepy looking shark with its tongue flapping out of its mouth.
Yeah. Do sharks even have tongues?
I don't know.
Because I don't feel like I remember them ever having tongues.
And he's also got like sideways goat pupils.
At least in these pages. They'll change later, though.
Yeah.
Well, actually, they'll change on the very next page, I should say.
Neptunia blows her horn again, and it sends the shark flying backwards. And Goslin says, "Wow, and I thought sharks couldn't swim backward." Neptunia, "He won't be for long. We're going to need a bigger horn," which I
Nice
guess is
Jaws
a Jaws
reference. Never fear, Gizmoduck is here. Now, where did I put that? And Gizmoduck pulls out a little canister. What's that? The solution to our shark problem. Wait for it. Wait for it. And he throws it at the shark. Their plan is to fade him. Wait for it. And what does it do?
It explodes and magically straps this contraption with a bunch of belts and a big fan onto the body of the shark. And the shark is obviously confused.
And it gives us one more stupid sound effect, hopefully the last one, with a strap pop.
Yeah.
But what does this contraption do to said shark?
So the fan propels the shark backwards even further.
He'll be fine. By the way, that motor's battery is... Oh, he'll be fine, by the way. That motor's battery only lasts 15-ish minutes. That was amazing, Gizmoduck. We make a good team. I guess we do. Darkwing would never admit that.
I know, I was going to say, I kind of don't like him just giving into all this team stuff. I guess because they're trying to set up just the
Yeah,
stuff, but
they're
still.
forcing it way too much.
Yeah.
So what happens next?
I would like it if he was just complaining the entire time and just reluctantly going along with it because everybody else was super excited.
Yeah.
So then you see them swimming into the deep depths of the ocean. Gizmoduck kind of has a cool like propeller where his wheel usually is. You see like a shadow passing by. Neptunia says, "Oh dear, it's Frank."
Frank?
Frank is the smartest being on the planet. And
Really,
then
Neptunia? I'm not sure you know of many land dwellers, so how can you
Yeah.
say smarter than any of them? So
Yeah.
who is Frank?
Then we see this massive headed squid with a monocle.
Yeah.
on-
Delighted to make your acquaintance. I'm Frank.
Pleasure. I'm Darkwing Duck, terror who flaps in the night, and genius inventor extraordinaire. I'm also quite humble. You see Frank go to shake Darkwing's hand, but really he's grabbing him to launch him across the ocean. Or
Yeah.
yeah. You're in my waters, Neptunia, and I don't feel like playing nice. And he starts squeezing Gizmoduck and Neptunia really tight with his tentacles.
Meanwhile, Darkwing lands a substantial ways away. I gotta get back and help the Justice Ducks. Good thing I installed this waterproof jet setting as he pulls out his gas gun, which enables him to start using it to whoosh himself back, passing the shark still going backwards on his way. Wow, I gotta talk to Gizmoduck. That battery really holds a charge.
Yep. Never fear. Darkwing Duck is getting near. You see the submarine in the background. We get
Yep.
another I'm the terror in
Well,
beginning.
a partial.
But, yeah, a partial. And he gets interrupted. Stigmat says, "Don't worry, Darkwing. I already handled it." And
Stigmat is a genius.
what?
What? Turns out there's something called being hangry. Who knew? And we get an editor's note to explain what hangry is, even though I'm pretty sure everybody on the planet knows the term.
Nah, only geniuses, apparently.
Yeah. Toodles, my compliments to the chef. Now you don't even have to fight a giant squid. You say that like it's a good thing.
Yeah. And then we get Neptunia. Herb, how far are we? Herb, we need to go 20,000 more leagues under the sea. What's a league? No idea. It's like one
Well,
of
I can tell you that 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea is a Jules Verne book.
Yeah. That's like one of the only funny parts, I think, in this.
Yeah.
And then Neptunia's swimming down more, and she says, "It's too dark even for me." She blows her horn again, and two little anglerfish with like glowy thingies on their head come by to light the way. And
Yeah.
Morgan says she has an idea that might help. She says some magic words, which every time this happens in this comic book, I'm like thinking of Zatanna.
Yeah, I tried to see if it was something backwards as well.
Yeah, totally.
Turgum ut Scola, which creates an army of luminescent zebra-ish looking fish.
Yeah, but they're not really glowing. It's a little confusing.
Yeah. Also, I'm going to point something out here. Darkwing obviously has a submarine. Submarines are supposed to go down into the deep, dark depths of the ocean. Shouldn't it have lights of its own?
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, kind of a little bit of an inconsistency. Like if they weren't going to have lights on it, they should have either made a throwaway line to Darkwing like, "Hey, why doesn't your sub have lights on it?" and have him make some excuse for why he didn't think of it, or have the lights not be powerful enough. But to not have them and not acknowledge is kind of dumb.
Yeah.
But yeah, now Darkwing can see everything, even Ducklantis,
Yep.
which Ducklantis has some interesting designs.
Yeah,
Lots
it's
of fins and clams, including a clam at the very top of the building that I thought was a police hat at first.
yeah, it looks like just a regular city, but like a handful of the buildings just have like shells on top of them.
Yep. So they're all heading for it. There it is. No time for us to use our plan. Ready, set, Justice Ducks. And we get the return of our mysterious villain.
Mysterious Lorax.
Yeah. You found your way without the compass. Remarkable. I had something better than a compass. I had trackable quackerware. I mean, I was going to say the help of my good friends, but yes, Herb, I had the help of good friends plus a tracking device in your quackerware that luckily got stolen by our new foe.
Yep. Subsequently leading us right to the missing launch pad. You never let anyone help you. That was the foundation of my entire evil plot. Who are you anyway? Oh, that. I am. And then I guess he disrobes and
Yep,
he is
Re-
Mer-duck.
yep, a character we've never seen before, and it makes no sense it would have been him in the costume.
Yeah, his size is completely different than the little character. I don't understand how he was walking around if he had a fin. There's no implication that he had difficulty walking around when he was in
Yep.
guys. And yeah, just I had to look at the panels like a couple times to even see that that was him disrobing. It was kind of confusing. Everybody yells, Mer-duck. Who?
Who? See,
And then he,
this is why I had to steal the compass. Why? You got a problem finding true north? I don't, but you do. All those heroes and villains in the museum, and not a single mention of me. And other editor's note that we didn't need. And then we get to see his evil plans, which are stupid. They consist of him turning the faucet on in Drake's house to create a dripping sound, and turning a sprinkler on to douse Drake when he's walking with a briefcase full of $1 million inventions. Also, if he's targeting Drake specifically, does that mean he knows Drake is Darkwing Duck? Like, what the heck?
yeah, it's weird. And also, I guess Drake was a inventor, salesman or something.
Something like that.
It's very confusing. I thought when I first saw him with the sprinkler, I thought it was a callback to Dry Hard where he was grabbing the 3/4 Pinkney flange.
Yeah. Wow, you really are a supervillain. But I was too good at it. No one noticed me, which is why I decided to level up and destroy Darkwing Duck by removing your compass. But it wasn't my compass, it was Launchpad's. Now, before we continue any farther, let me just make a note to all of you listeners out there. Everything we're about to say next covers 2 pages, the final 2 pages of this comic. Like, without that disclaimer, I'm not sure they would believe that all of this is condensed so quick.
Yeah.
So, what happens next?
No, silly. The physical compass was just a red herring. Her. A red herring says.
Yeah.
I mean, your moral compass. I just use the heirloom as bait.
Don't say bait down here. It's offensive, says another fish.
You know, your plan almost worked for a moment. I did lose myself. All I could think about was getting Launchpad back at any cost, but your plan failed for the same reason you're about to lose everything.
What do you mean? You haven't found Launchpad, and you never will. And we get one final entrance. I am the terror that flaps in the night, as Darkwing shoots a net with his gas gun. I am the one who understands extremely enigmatic egos enough to have you monologue your undoing while my team found and rescued Launchpad. What? You let them take all the glory? But that's not Darkwing Duck. You said it, Mer-duck. That is not Darkwing Duck.
Yeah.
Launchpad is more important to me than glory. We are the Justice Ducks. But I do deserve most of the credit.
And then in the distance, you see Binky, Honker, and Mayor Owlson. Yay,
Yeah.
you did it. It's Darkwing Duck. And we see a newspaper headline that says Mer-duck meets justice. And once again, they captured my good side by Darkwing.
Yep. The end for now. Yeah. They wrap everything up in 2 pages, 2 very forced and rushed pages that I think are a complete disservice to the character of Darkwing.
Yeah. It's not really good.
So, Tiff, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty rough. Like everything about it. It's super anticlimactic. It's rushed for sure. A lot of the dialogue is like even hard to read and understand what they're going for in it. Some of the, visual jokes, didn't make much sense. And yeah, it's not good. I'm going to say though, if I'm gonna rate it, I'm still gonna give it 2 stars because I do really think that the art is getting good and expressive, and it looks pretty nice. I even kind of like even though I don't like the idea of the character, I think the character of Mer-duck looks just like a character out of DuckTales or Darkwing. So
Yeah.
points for the art.
All right. So, I think I'm actually going to be judging it a bit harsher than you this time. Because honestly, I hate this issue. Like, more than any other issue in this run, which is saying something considering that issues number 1, 2, and even 3 for a bit, had some major issues with the tone, the art, like everything was all over the place and fairly rough in those. And obviously after the 3rd issue, things started climbing and getting better and better. But it seems with issue 7-ish, I think, like issue 6 started kind of going downhill, and from 7 onward, it's just basically continued to be a plummet. The art is fairly decent in this. There are some odd bits about it. There's the character design of Mer-duck is pretty good. I'll grant you that. I love the Darkwing sub. I feel that's something that looks like it could have been pulled straight from the issue, but from an episode. But it's like the writing is terrible in this one. The jokes aren't funny. The resolution of things feels hollow, and offense of all is the fact that it feels like they did not get Darkwing's character right. He never would have worked willingly with the Justice Ducks until the very end of a crisis. He certainly wouldn't have devised this whole thing of them going to rescue Launchpad off screen, I might add. Like they went and got Launchpad off screen. We didn't get to see them beat up Launchpad's guards, liberate him from a cell, nothing like that. Just on the very last page, oh hey, there's Launchpad swimming with the rest of the Justice Ducks.
Yeah, and if you're gonna do something like that, you really gotta go back and have a moment where Darkwing's like, "How did you rescue Launchpad?" And then they explain what happened or something. But there isn't any, so it comes off really unsatisfying.
So I am going to give this one half a gas gun canister. And if it wasn't for the continued improvement of the art and the inclusion of the Darkwing sub and a couple jokes, it might have gotten a 0. Like, I feel it's a slap in the face to pretty much any Darkwing fan.
Yeah. like what I was kind of saying this earlier, it makes Darkwing like an unlikable character.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if any of these story threads are going to be picked up in the Justice Ducks comic or not. You know, they did release a preview of like the first like 5 or 6 pages, and what I read of that doesn't really give me a lot of hope, to be honest.
Mm.
But I'm at least hopeful that the writing will improve, which may save it. But I'm honestly at this point, Negaduck is the current peak of Darkwing
Yeah.
comics at the moment.
Well,
You
I
know,
think
since
the problem with a
what?
lot of it, I was gonna say what I think the problem is with a lot of these, like, and the direction that they're going in, is that, like, you know, the original show is pretty old. There's obviously like fans like us that care, and that those, you know, James Silvani comics were so great, and it was like exactly what we all wanted, and there's tons of references, and they really did their homework on everything, and they felt like the show. But for anyone that's like new, like they might not necessarily understand or be into like what's happening. And I think with this, they were like, look, this is like a kid's property, let's just bring it back, and let's, you know, we got to like dumb it down a little bit so that like a kid of today can pick up this comic book and understand and get a feel for things. And I think that makes it so all of us who are old fans not really like it, you know?
Well, I would say that's also a disservice to any kid that would pick this up, though, because kids aren't as dumb as people think
Yeah,
that they can be. You know,
that's
they're a
true.
lot smarter than we ever give them credit for.
Yeah, and I
You know,
mean, when you look at,
competent writing and storytelling always comes through. So there wasn't any need to dumb it down that much. You
it's
know,
true. I'm not saying that it's right. I think that's why they started writing it this way, when they really should have taken a lesson from like the new DuckTales show, where that was really like reference heavy, and,
yeah.
you know, not made for like super duper little kids, and it got all these like new generations of kids being interested in things, and then they started watching the old DuckTales, and they started watching Darkwing Duck and Disney
Yep.
after stuff. So I mean, they really should have just kept it going with how they were doing the Joe books and Boom issues. Maybe there's still time. Maybe they'll
Maybe
listen to this
there
show.
is. You know, but at least for now, we've got Negaduck, which is a decent series, and we'll see how Justice Ducks is. On to
Yeah.
our villain rating, because we will rate Mer-duck. So, what are you going to give him?
That's tricky. I mean, he's pretty pathetic, and it was pretty weird, the whole him being like a tiny guy walking around and then he's a mermaid. So just for the ridiculousness of it, I'm gonna have to give him like 1.5 stars, or stars, canisters, spam cans.
Well, once again, I'm going a little harsher than you, not by much this time, though. I feel that the concept of like the way the execution was immensely flawed. The concept was iffy at best. The design was pretty cool. Both his Lorax design, though I feel that should have been a separate character, and the
Yeah.
Mer-duck design. For the fact that he has a cool design, at least, I'm going to give him a 1. I can't give him any higher than that because of
Yeah.
how botched his appearance was. But yeah, that finally wraps up issue 10, as well as the Diebert run of Darkwing Duck. Any
Yep.
further thoughts on the series as a whole, or?
No, not really. Pretty much
No?
said all.
All right. Well, we are the St. Canard Files, a Darkwing Duck podcast. You can find us on all podcast apps as well as YouTube. Tiffany, any shout outs, or where can the fans find you?
No. Well, I'm gonna give a shout out to James Silvani after this.
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
miss him.
We all miss you, James. Your work was superior. And we hope you'll come back to the Darkwing fold at some point.
Yes, please. And
Where can the fans find you?
on Instagram, I'm at Tiffany Silverbron and at Regurgitating Gertie for my fan art. And then on YouTube, I'm at CarneyTube and at Radioactiffany.
All right. And I have a shout out. I'm actually going to give a shout out to all of our patient listeners who have been waiting with bated breaths for us to finally get this episode out. So thank you all for your patience, and hopefully you did enjoy this episode. As for where the fans can find me, I have 2 YouTube channels, DMC Jedi Man and DMC Jedi Man Gaming. I also do have a Facebook, but if you're coming to my Facebook from, definitely drop me a line and let me know you're coming because of St. Canard Files. But yeah, that's going to do it for this episode. I think I'm going to have to go reread the Definitively Dangerous edition, as well as the Joe Books run, to wash the taste of this horrible comic out of my mouth. Bye, everybody.
Bye.